To Korea, your friend JKKC. Let's talk about some scandals. Let's talk about some gossip. Let me give you some juice. I got your attention? I know I did. When it comes to scandals, gossip, juicy stuff, we want to zoom in. This is not something funny for me, but let's talk about human beings, how flawed we are. And let's admit that we are flawed. At least we can start from there, that by nature, our ethics are compromised. There's nothing like moral absolutism, purity, perfection. That's not humanity. Human beings we are contaminated. We have viruses of all levels, ethically, morally. Yeah, we do. Let's just agree. I don't think we are going to disagree on that premise or hypothesis I present to you. Again, to Korea, man. Sit down, subscribe, like it, view it. Let me talk to you. Let me take you to a country that hosted the 2012 Olympics. And let me just put you right there in front of the camera, and you are watching the 1500 meters women finals. There are good names on that lineup in the finals. They are great names. One of the names that should pop into your screen is a Brit who is a finalist. She's made it there. Her name is Lisa Dobrinsky. She's the hope. She's the host hope in the final in the women 1500. How does she do it? She wants to win it. As she's warming up, standing there, you can watch the clip. She's nervous as usual before a big event like that. The crowd, 80,000 spectators were there, including Lord Sebastian Coe, the chairman. I suspect the Queen was in the middle. She had coronated the event as she does all the time, using her left hand with her white glove. I suspect she was there. It's a great final. So we said, and so we spectated and cheered the top three finishers. Who are these top three finishers? They were not from England. They were from different countries other than the host. But I mentioned Lisa Dobrinsky. Keep that in mind. The winner was Asli Yahir Halbetekin. Second place was another Turkey woman, or Turkey. They don't say Turkey anymore, they say Turkey. Okay, let's keep up with this. Second place went to Gamze Bulut, and third place was Mariam Yusuf Hamal, the Bahrainian. Dobreski, whom I just mentioned, Lisa Dobreski, was 10th place. So she was at the rear. I remember this vividly as if it was yesterday. For me, everything in distance running stays in my head. I have photo memory of what happened, because when Asli, the Turkey woman, and her countrymate, Hamze Bulut, took the lead 300 meters to go, it was over. Why? They were very efficient. They looked like as if they just joined the race at the end of the race, and they went 1-2. Yamal was struggling. She looked like she was struggling, but she got bronze. The other finishers faded completely. The gap was pretty much evident. Well. So we have the top three. They get their medals. Everybody goes home. And that's it. After the event, I'm reading this in The Guardian, and why 1500 meter finals has been labeled the dirtiest finals ever in the Olympics. Dirty? Doped? What happened? What might have happened was 80% of the finalists in that 1500 meters women were juiced up. We find that later, 10 years down the road. The report of that final women, their biological report, was found 10 years later. It's getting really exciting for me reading some of these things. Exciting? No, sad at the same time. because I've been promoting athletics. I love athletics. I grew up loving this sport of track and field and anything between, running. Now we have Kipchogeathon, the new marathon. I'm promoting running left and right. The reason why I think I'm doing this is because of passion. But passion can sometimes make you miss the dark side of the sport. But I'm aware of it because in 1988, Ben Johnson was the blockbuster bust in doping. 100 meters, he wins it, wagging his finger at the Canadian. 24 hours later, he was found wanting. He is exiled from Seoul Olympics, 1988. Before that, we had East German, nation of East German. History has it that East German athletes were never sober. They were always high on dope. That's what documentaries have shown us. And then if we come to Russia, Russia is a pariah nation of doping. And they've been banned from Olympics. The last Olympics, I don't think they were in London. No, they were in London. And then Rio, they were banned. And then the last one, they didn't even show up because the Olympic Committee and the world said, we don't want you here because they were exposed or they were found to be a state that sponsors drug with their athletes. Let's go back to 1500 meters. So we have top finishers all the way to 10th place. I don't remember how many finalists were there, but Lisa Dobreski was very uncomfortable after the final, and she was being interviewed by BBC. Every time I hear a post-race interview, I get fidgety because the last time I heard about one was a Polish woman, Jenski, if I remember her name correctly, after Rio in the 800 meters, where she claims the 1, 2, 3 finishers from South Africa, Burundi, and Kenya were not women enough. So I get kind of, I get stiff because every time a European athlete get disgruntled, they are kind of having this moment of, it's not even. But she says something that caught the attention of the world. And this is where I'm going with the story. I'm very uncomfortable with that, she said, after the race. I'm probably going to get into trouble for saying so, but I don't believe I'm competing on the level, on a level playing field. She continued that. She says this because I think for me, even looking back, I have to agree, something wasn't right. Something was unusually uneven. And I think maybe, athletes know each other. I remember when I was a competitor, you can tell when people have, we are all not very far from each other. Mostly when you're in the same category, maybe the heats, because you take the times and you put the times together, whatever something is. So you as an athlete get a sense of your competitor. And when something is unusual, you feel it. So maybe she's alluding to that. And so when later down the road, we find that of the top 10 finishers, 80% were later caught to have been cheaters, or they were doping, or they were using steroids. These become one of the dirtiest finals ever in a race in Olympics. Let me tell you how deep the problem was. In 2013, the gold medalist was suspended after abnormalities were detected in her blood profile dating back to 2010. That was before Olympics. After a lengthy period which she was initially cleared by a Turkish federation, the local federation, and the athlete was given 8-year ban in 2015 and forfeited all her results from 2010, of course, to Olympics. She's a gold medalist, so she's been banned 10 years. For how long was she banned? She was banned for 8 years. So she has to forfeit the gold, right? So gold is gone. Okay, slow down. Let's go to Bulut, who was a silver medalist. She was upgraded, of course, because she was silver medalist. Now the gold medalist is gone. Let's move the silver medalist to the top. But it didn't last long either, because this is what happened. In 2017, she was also banned for blood passport abnormalities that had results annulled back to 2011. This is a silver medalist who got gold for a few, maybe I don't know how long. She's gone. Who is left? There's only one left right now. Marian Hamal from Bahrain moves up to be the gold medalist because silver and gold is gone, banned, doped out or patched out by the system. Ha! Well, you might think it gets better for any other athlete who was below, like maybe fourth, fifth. The Belarusian Natalia Karyeva, who what place were those guys? She was seventh and ninth. They had abnormalities in their blood. They call it ABP abnormalities. This doping in the system. They were found wanting. So number 7 and number 9 are gone. Those 4 athletes already banned from the from that finalist in 1500. It gets interesting and exciting. So you think the 5th place? The 5th place was Abeba Aregawi from Ethiopia. Okay, she had moved to Sweden. She had adopted a new country in Sweden. She was caught too in 2016 after testing positive for a banned substance known as meldonium, a heart medication that can be used by athletes to improve their endurance and recovery. There goes the 5th one. 5 athletes have been wiped out from the final. It gets really, really, really exciting for me reading it. Wow. And then another one. There was Tatiana Tamashova, who had moved to 4th now because everybody else had, no, she was 4th in the final. So you would think, oh, Tamashova, she's innocent, she's from Russia, she moves up. No, she's found wanting with another doping scandal in her system. Wow. So, how many did I mention? I mentioned 5. That's a half of the finalists. I had said 80%, maybe I've exaggerated, trying to make this one to be the worst finals or the dirtiest final. My word. So Jamal now has moved to gold, who was 3rd. Who goes to 2nd? 2nd went to Shannon Rowbury of US. And Lisa Dombrowski, who had blown the whistle, ends up getting a silver. Let me tell you something. I'm still a fan. This one doesn't make us just give up on a sport. Just because something is scandalous today doesn't mean everything else is scandalous down the road. We have to have grace and still embrace something beautiful. I believe in scraping and salvaging, squeezing some juice and beauty out of the sport. This is, to me, I've never heard anything of this level of purging in a final event. It was so bad in London, like I wonder, given the technology, given London to be a police state, a police city, given the fact that they have Scotland Yard, given that they know how to investigate crimes, how could they host 2012 and miss out on this many dopes or dopers? Listen, I'm not blaming the host. What really shocks me is that by 2022, when it was all said and done, in 10 years of reanalysis program by International Testing Agency, 31 London medals from athletes from 11 different countries had been withdrawn. Wow. We've come a long way in Olympics. I've talked about when my passion for Olympics really it was like inaugurated in 1998, and Ben Johnson became the blockbuster of dope. To have 33 medals reversed or withdrawn from athletes from London 2012. And get this, In one men's weightlifting event, 6 of the top 7 finishers, including 3 medalists, were disqualified and banned for doping offenses. You know, I'll end by saying this. Scandals, cheaters, Game of Thrones lifestyle, where people will just do anything to win or to get to a place. The Roman Empire was notorious for family scandals and killing and purging of family members just to be the next king. We know history tells us that. I come from a country where rigging is just the normality when it comes to elections. We are in a country whereby you can be a felon and be a president. So perfection, the idealism, the idea that we'll ever get to a place whereby ethics will be the norm, will be pure and organic, I think it's not human. It's not gonna happen. And even in sports, Lance Armstrong, 7 times Tour de France winner, only to be found to be a fraud. And a building here in Nike had to repaint over his name. Wow, we have coaches, Hall of Famers, Alberto Salazar. I remember seeing the guy. He was a fraud. Listen, in sports, I remember Marion Jones in Sydney, 2000, the queen of track, the real face of track and field, only to be found a felon, ends up in jail. Let me tell you something. This, the dirtiest 1500 final in women category in Olympics ever. Wow. The Guardian caught my attention. I had to share that because as sad as it is to me, it continues to expose the flaw, the contaminated systems of humanity. It wasn't COVID, my friend. It is human beings. We've all fallen short of some glory. Tuko Riada, my friend, is your friend JKKC. Flawed as I am, I try to tell you, after all, we are all human.